analyst and thought leadership firm I founded back in 1985 to cover, back when intelligent network services were like enhanced routing behind 800 numbers and that sort of thing. Now the business is, and I don't have any PowerPoint to screw up, and I did like the TV presentation. It sort of was like, for a second I thought there was hash in the pizza that we ate. That was very enjoyable. But I'm here, as Zhao mentioned, Mark Plakius here and I, in a moment of synchronicity or serendipity, had come up with the term recombinant communications, as opposed to something like unified communications, to describe where we're at in the development of solutions that involve broadband IP, that use web standards, that rely on well-defined APIs to create applications, to create a better and more productive user experience. And having seen all these pieces coming together and seeing competitors being allies, I guess they used to call them frenemies, I'm declaring this the summer of RC, the RC being recombinant communications. And you know, as evidence, and we're here as sort of a third-party analyst firm to kind of document and reinforce the sorts of developments that are going on that take advantage of all these little building blocks that we're putting together in sort of a natural, sort of a scientific sort of way. So we've quantified it. Right now, there's spending going along, and I do think it's an enterprise phenomenon, enterprise and the enterprise side of carriers making investments in infrastructure, hardware and software around call routing and voice processing and all the stuff you see built around the XML standards and that sort of thing. There's a cloud side that is billed for on minutes of use. We hear the pennies where it used to be, you know, dollars. Well, yeah, dollars, and that's, well, we see pennies where it used to be dimes and quarters and that sort of thing. And it's also an era when there's tremendous opportunity for integrators and professional services to come and make these disparate little pieces of the infrastructure, hardware, software, and services work together. And then the third layer of the stack that we look at is money to be made supporting transactions and charging for minutes of use on the network. And what made me think, gee, this is a summer of RC, is like, just take yesterday as an example. We had Alcatel-Lucent buying Programmable Web, which is essentially a library of APIs being bought by one of the old guard telephony infrastructure, now merged with enterprise infrastructure, owner of Genesis, you know, go down the list, companies. Cisco introduced a new tablet computer, or tablet that looks very much like the iPad, that it's going to be optimized for the enterprise. It's going to use something like Cisco's Cube user interface to render a person's workspace anywhere they go on essentially an iPad-looking thing. Avaya, which had been leveraging its agile computing environment, which is essentially the tools that are needed to bring solutions built in multi-vendor environments, multi-site environments, all layers of the stack, has announced a 3-year relationship with HP, which I think leans more on its acquisition of EDS, but bringing sort of the professional services together to sort of smooth some of the bumps that happen when you go into multi-vendor environments, and indeed you do have these great equalizers of web standards and broadband IP to put together. And Salesforce is boosting Chatter, which is essentially, you know, the great cloud CRM company having something that looks an awful lot like Twitter, built around XMPP and you know, yet another well understood API. So how we're going to sort this out is really interesting. I think in the long run, everybody wants to be a platform, and a platform meaning that they have this repository of applications, of APIs, of partner building tools, and that sort of thing. It means that Nokia, Microsoft, Alcatel-Lucent, Cisco, Google are all peers and potentially cooperating with one another. And what we're going to get used to as the summer rerun season coming is like this episode of So You Think You Can Code. You know, it's going to be, you know, it's time to strut your stuff, make solutions that make people more productive, and we're going to be following this and reinforcing it. So I want to thank Zhao for inviting me to chat. I hope I didn't talk too long, and let's put the TV back on. Thanks a lot. Oh, any questions?
What do you think this is going to be? Don't you think there will be like a de facto leaders in the space at some, and that will drive the standards and that will dominate?
Oh, for sure. And you know, we sort of they will be they'll be defined by where they're coming from position of strength. So and this is my pinhead way of thinking of it. You know, Microsoft is there because right now they dominate the desktop and some of the server market. You see Cisco at the lower layers moving up with a bunch of the stuff that it's doing in terms of applications. What's interesting is that their contact center group, the IPCC, was one of the first areas where Cisco moved out of just being big honker router or whatever into the application area, and there was pushback initially from a mess of competitors. I think you'll see Oracle coming out of sort of the relational database area, but having bought all that CRM stuff and bringing that in. IBM in the middleware, WebSphere, SOA sort of thing. So it will get defined by some old guard leaders now. But I think a lot of the creativity comes out of groups like this that will leverage the standards. I kind of think that there's I'm kind of defining the top-down, monolithic enterprise IT infrastructure providers on the one hand, but see the creativity coming either from the sides or from sort of a groundswell of developers below that. So it's a longer answer than I thought I was going to come up with. Other questions? Well then, thank you very much.
Thank you.